Which RPG provides the most useful resources? Like pretty much every other question this month, this one is loaded. The sticking point for me is the word provides. Provides can mean a lot of things. Does it mean included in the core book? Does it mean made available by the publisher? Does it mean made available by third-party publishers? And my guess is that the intent is probably all of the above. So I will try to answer this in a couple of different ways. One bit of support I am a huge fan of is any sort of adventure generator. And many RPGs have provided these in the past. The Legendary Edition of Barbarians of Lemuria, for instance, has an adventure generator in the back. Right there, built into the only book that you need. Many of the settings for Savage Worlds provide adventure generators in them. And I think that's great support. But it's not in the book. It's not in the core book. There's no adventure generator. And it would be hard to do one for a set of core rules because no genre has been added yet. It's a core rule system. You wouldn't put an adventure generator in there unless you were trying to cover multiple genres, which I suppose you could do. There are other bits of useful material that's out there. GM references, from cheat sheets to Game Master screens. Those are good bits of reference. But again, some of those are provided not even by third-party publishers, but the fan community. I actually authored a cheat sheet for the Esoterrorists way back at the beginning of when Gumshoe was introduced. I wrote up a cheat sheet and I sent it to Pelgrane Press and said, actually, no. I put out this cheat sheet, and Pelgrane Press asked me if it would be cool if they applied their fonts and trade dress to it. That's how that happened. That's right. But anyway, it was a fan submission, and they went ahead and released it as an official bit of resource for that game. So, any publisher that pays attention to their fans finds a way to put out good resources. I would have to say that the sticking point with this particular question is, where do those resources come from? RPG resources is kind of provides is kind of, Evil Hat has a great download page for the Fate games, Fate Core and Fate Accelerated, to include the actual PDFs for Fate Core and Fate Accelerated. So that's a nice resource. Multiple fans have Fate SRDs that they've created. It's a great one. So if I have to pick my favorite RPG in terms of what resources are available out there rather than just provided, I'm going to have to go with Savage Worlds. And I think one of the reasons Savage Worlds is such a go-to system for me is because so many great resources are provided. Some by the fans, some by Pinnacle Entertainment, and some by third-party publishers. I love adventure generators. I love one-sheet adventures. I know I've talked about those this month. Pre-generated characters, super useful. Although they've started charging for those because they're making them part of their Kickstarters, which is fine. I know it upsets some people, but I'm okay with it. It's work that's being done. Why not get that work paid for? So let's see what else. When Savage Worlds was very young, someone put out a great little thing called the Wheel of Raises. One of the rules in Savage Worlds is that when you beat your target number by 4, you get a thing called a raise, and there are situations in the game where you can get multiple raises to get various results. So somebody put out a Wheel of Raises that lets you scroll to, or I should say spin, to whatever the target number was, and then it gives you the next few raises. Pretty cool. I think the I think it's called Cast of Cards or Cast of Characters. I can't think of it right now, but basically there are a series of cards put out that provide creature stats. Some of them are licensed. They've got an accursed license. I think it's Cast of Cards. They've got an accursed license. They've got a license for sci-fi companion, I think. These cards are really neat because it's got all the stats right on there for you. Just so many things that just make the game easier to use. So, Savage Worlds. Savage Worlds is just purely designed to make the game master's life easier. I mean, it's really the main design goal for the game, and it works admirably. Until next time, which should be tomorrow, as we close in on this final few days of RPG a day, do good, avoid evil, and play more games.